Welcome to Biomedical Sciences. My name is Amram Sharif, and in today's lecture, I'm going to be discussing anemia. So, let's get started. Anemia is a condition in which the red blood cell or the hemoglobin concentration within the blood is lower than normal. So, as a result or due to the defects in the red blood cell, this can lead to an undersupply of oxygen to the body. Why? Because the red blood cell has a protein called hemoglobin that helps them to bind oxygen and supply this oxygen to the rest of the body. So we're going to be talking about the types of anemia, the causes of anemia, and that of the diagnosis of anemia. So in terms of the tests of anemia, they are classified based on the cell size, based on the pathophysiology, and also based on the causes. So we have a mnemonic developed called the FOHASTA. So RVHASTA. That R represents iron deficiency anemia. So iron deficiency anemia is a form of anemia in which there is an insufficient intake of iron in the body and also blood loss. So that can result into iron deficiency anemia. So in that case, we normally see the red blood cells appears to be in the form of microcytic, that is, they are small in size, or they might look so part called hypochromic cells. So that is for the iron deficiency anemia. So V means vitamin deficiency anemia. So vitamin deficiency anemia, we have two types of vitamin deficiency anemia. We have the folic acid deficiency anemia, that is an insufficient intake of folic acid in diet can result into that. And we also have the vitamin B12 anemia, also called the pernicious anemia. So pernicious anemia or vitamin B12 anemia, that is an insufficient intake of vitamin B12. So this can be as a result of the person nutritional level and malabsorptions of these vitamins into the body. So the next one is H. The H represents hemolytic anemia. So hemolytic anemia has to do with the destruction of the red blood cells. So this can be as a result of autoimmune diseases, infections, and other chronic diseases. So this can be as a result of, in the case of like sickle cell anemia and like thalassemia anemia. So hemolytic has to do with the destruction of the red blood cell. It could be autoimmune, it could be infectious, and so that's the aspect. So for A referred to as aplastic anemia. So aplastic anemia is also a destruction level of the red blood cell. So that can be in the case of the bone marrow failure to produce red blood cells. So once the bone marrow fails to produce red blood cells, it will be so many conditions that causes why the bone marrow is failed to produce red blood cells. So as a result, it causes what we call the aplastic anemia. S. So S is for the sickle cell anemia. So it's a type of anemia that affects the shapes of the red blood cell. So in that case is where the hemoglobin has a condition where in normal genetic process of processing of the hemoglobin, you have where there should be a glutamic protein. It was replaced by valine. So as a result, it makes the cell shape gets in the sickle form, and that results into the cell carrying insufficient level of oxygen. So sickle cell anemia means that the cell shape has a sickle form and is a serious defect that affects the body. Then the next one is the thalassemia anemia. So thalassemia anemia is a kind of anemia that is due to a destruction level of the blood cells. So this can be due to radiation in terms of the hemoglobin defect specifically. Then lastly, we have anemia of chronic diseases. So anemia of chronic diseases can be as a result, like more productions of red blood cells. In case of polycythemia vera, is a kind of overproduction of red blood cell, referred to as a blood cancer, red blood cell cancer. So it's a condition, it's another type of anemia. So these are the types of anemia. And to quickly review that, we say the types of anemia, we have iron deficiency anemia, vitamin deficiency anemia, hemolytic anemia, aplastic anemia, sickle cell anemia, thalassemia anemia, and anemia of all chronic diseases. Now, let's look at the causes of anemia. Anemia has three major causes. One of the causes of anemia is decreased production of red blood cell. So once we have decreased production of red blood cell, this is one of the reasons why we experience anemia in terms of illness. So that could be an example of decreased production of red blood cell, could be in terms of vitamin deficiency anemia, because there are insufficient vitamins or minerals like iron deficiency anemia. This might result in the low production of the red blood cell. So that is one kind. So the result of that is from nutritional aspect, it could be an autoimmune aspect, and etc. Then the next causes of anemia is what we refer to as increased production of red blood cells. So increased production of red blood cells will also be an autoimmune activity. So that means the body is recognizing itself as a foreign substance, which results in the more production of red blood cells. So, and apart from that, there are other infections and other diseases that result into that. Then the last classification of anemia is the causes of anemia, is what we refer to as the blood loss. So blood loss or hemorrhagic anemia is one of the causes of anemia. And this is very, 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 very dangerous in terms of bleeding, in terms of menstrual bleeding or trauma situation like accident, etc. That is another cause. So we said there are three causes of anemia: decreased production of red blood cells, increased production of red blood cells, and blood loss or hemorrhagic cause.